Hello, मैं अपने host अतु जमीर मोगला talk show unfiltered ते अपने सब के स्वागत करिया से मोहन अजी एकटा serious और sensitive issue लगा opore khota gule se kundu issue do mogala society de puila bura thagi gina aise hulibi aji kali hi light aise mohan aji mental health or mental illness laga opore khota gule aise kida mohan mental illness ko mohan depression or anxiety kani ase babe hulibi itu laga opore or mental illness to bishi ase mohan itu mental health or mental illness laga hodai din nishna hunigina aise hulibi mogala society de itu itabi manuhan khuli gina khota nokoi aro manuhan itu mental health to ki ase itu bi aro illness to ki ase itu bi bhalwa na jane aro idula opode kininga cope kurle ase itu bi na jani na ase to idula opode aji mohan itu discuss kurle aise mohan lo dem Miss Vivi Zhimomi tai ekta clinical psychologist ase aro tai laga masters clinical psychology degree she aro 2 years of internship tai sought career work kurina she aro tai yade Dimapur de ekta chamber ase JOYOUS life professional counseling center kurina. So thank you so much Miss Vivi for joining us today. To me idu mohala discussion do age parai na my first question do hodibole mon jabo kida mon mental illness noile mental health laga khota go like especially focusing on mental illness to in third world countries kande manuan thage kando we have so many misconceptions about mental illness to any medical or clinical laga term bra hosa asugli mental illness to kininga define kurubo.
Mental illness is proven is proven by the researchers, and then mental illness to define it in short form, mental illness is when there is a changes in state of mood, and when they started having changes in it affects their feelings or the way they think, it affects their emotions, it affects their behavior. So that is mental illness.
So any one laga society do saishugule what are some of the most common mental illnesses?
Besides depression and anxiety, in our society, most of our people suffers with depression and anxiety. But according to my experience and clients that I have encountered in my chamber, most of them, besides depression and anxiety, they also suffers with personality disorder called borderline personality disorder or bipolar.
So any bipolar disorder, explain
bipolar disorder, there are two kinds of episode. Our bipolar disorder be bipolar 1, 2, 3 say. So I'll just explain what is bipolar 1. So bipolar, when people suffering with mental illness called bipolar disorder, there are two kinds of episode called the manic episode and depressive episode. When suddenly, for example, suddenly they might one fine morning they just wake up and they feel like they don't want to do any house chores, or they feel like they don't want to do any activities that they were interested before, or they just want to be isolated, or they don't want to talk with anybody. They don't want to receive a phone call. Suddenly they just want to cry. Suddenly they just feel very sad. Na ito depression episode they say. Aro manic episode they will be very hyper, bishi impulsive ho jai. Aro they will do the things that they never do before. Like for example, they start buying stuffs, and then all the things are piled up inside their houses, or they go to party and or they are involved in sex, or they are involved in substance use. So that is the manic episode. So sometimes that person going through with bipolar disorder, they might sometimes from depression to manic episode, or it might be from manic episode to depression episode.
To mohan aro mental illness kule, what is the difference between mental illness and mental disorder?
Mental illness, to people, like I mentioned earlier, mental illness is people, they deal with their emotions. When they started, there is a change in the way they think, the way they feel, the way they behave. So that is mental illness. Likewise, it's with a mental disorder as well.
So there's not much difference.
Right.
Taro mohan ini naga society de saishu do mental illness suffer kurano kundu age group kani bishi thage?
Most of the, I haven't done any kind of research kan iku kurenai holebi manukan moila chamber de ahakantu, most of them from young age group kantu, usually from 20 to 23 to 35 aro all age groups like 40s pra 50.
Okay. तो मोहन इनी mental illness or mental health kala kota kushu kali do mostly ajigali do ini itu you know with the you know with technology mohan janya laga ese mostly mohan teenagers kan nolibi aru sai shuguli do mostly youth kan bai itu la opore bishi jani na say that they are more aware. To do you think parents can be or older generation can be do are they aware?
I don't think so. Like yeah, maybe even the young people, some young people, they might be aware of what is mental illness, right? But most, I don't think so. When it comes to all age group or senior citizens, I don't think so. They are aware of what is this mental illnesses, because according to my experience, many people, especially from 40s to 50s or the senior citizens, I also have some clients coming to see me. So most of them, where do they come from? So they are not aware of all these mental illnesses, and then they go to different kinds of hospitals, and then they see a doctor, and then they are not diagnosed with any kind of sicknesses. So when they end up going to Guwahati or some other places, so they are being told that they are suffering with mental illnesses. So it's quite shocking for them to know that, okay, what is this depression, is this anxiety? Then the people they realize only during the time.
So ini mohan aro sai shukuni do, do you think there's a stigma attached to mental illness in our society?
Yes.
Aro ini mohan ini sai shuguli do kitya stigma laga khota ko aro to kitya tula counseling kan inyate like in your chamber, like on a from a scale of 1 to 100 ini kun kiman manu nishina aina they seek for help.
You mean in general, or?
Yes, in general. Ini like, do people actually approach like clinical psychology? I mean, like, kita mohan ini medical term bahasa isu gitu. Manuan ini do they like come forward seeking for help like as much like?
So from 1 to 100,
yes,
on a scale of 1 to 100, I guess 20 to 30% people they come forward to
so
seek
mostly
help.
manuan aro bishi thagibo mga society they will maybe they are not aware of what mental illness is, or what that they don't have the idea that ini ka jaigina clinically no medically cure hobo paro inya takan idea na thagya kane. Okay. So aro kitya mo ang clinical treatment or counseling la kota ko to idu what does it involve? Kini ka thagi process to?
Okay, so you want to know the process of clinical clinical counseling and then the clinical treatment.
How does it how does it go about?
Okay, yeah. So like for example, makan bemar thakle to we go and see a doctor, okay? And then we go and see the doctor, and then you do to diagnose you with what sicknesses you are going through. You might experience like ultrasound or CT scan or any kind of things, and then the doctor will diagnose you that you are having this kind of sicknesses, and then comes the medication. So likewise with the clinical treatment. So people don't just come and seek counseling and then go, okay? But first, for 1 or 2 sessions, people will, the patient will come, and then we do counseling. We study their case, and then if there are things to be tested, we do the test, and then only they are being diagnosed. So according to what mental illnesses they are diagnosed with, we do the treatment called the therapy. So there are also different kinds of therapy according to their sicknesses. And counseling is it's not only 1 or 2 sessions, but usually the therapy lasts for about 10 to 15 sessions, and it's once a week, and it's for like 1 hour per session.
Tomorrow do mental health problems la opposite kota ko shulu kundu age group kani more vulnerable thage?
From the age group between 24 to 35.
So around mental illness kodo mostly tala causes kando ki thage, how what causes mental illness kulido?
There are many reasons that causes mental illness, but I would like to mention few causes. So like it could be due to the loss of loved ones.
Okay.
Or the other causes, it could be due to financial problem, or it could be due to joblessness, or due to relationship problem, or it could be due to their health, the sicknesses. Yeah, so there are many causes. Yeah.
So mo any mental illness to tagi share kulido, like it's likely that it will affect your other, you know, other parts of life also, right?
Right, exactly.
Your health and everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So aron what do you think, like one laga society de mental health laga education bacha kan ge hekaule, bacha dam dura than ge aware kurduli ki mental health to ki ase no mental illness to ki ase, how important do you think it is?
Yeah, it is very important for a child for a child to know the importance of mental illnesses, because most of the child, they spend their life in the school rather than spending with their family members. So it is the school age, during the time of the school age, that they suffer with different kinds of mental illnesses. So I feel that the school should take seriously when it comes to this kind of issues, and then the school should implement or the school should provide counseling education or psycho education to children, so that they can be aware that whenever if they're facing any kind of sicknesses, or if they're having any kind of problems, internal problems, they can be aware and they can solve their problems and issues. Yeah.
Idula topic te mo aro discuss kurina jawo kulido students kan do kulita most of the time they spend time with the teachers in school.
Right.
School kulido to any teacher ekta bra any student ekta ge maybe taido all of oddly behave kure ase or in your science dikhai shu kulido teacher bra we kiniga idula oporde tahan bi kiniga koro lage.
Yeah, according to my my knowledge, here in Nagaland or in India, most teachers are not being educated on psychology, right? So so I feel that the first step should be the teachers should also be educated. Teachers should be given education on counseling psychology, so that if the child is behaving in a different way than the normal child, then the teacher can notice, or it will be easy for the teacher to notice that the child is experiencing abnormal symptoms. Yeah, so I feel that it's very important, especially for the teachers, to be aware of what the students are going through. They should be educated first on counseling psychology or psycho education.
Clinical treatment aro counseling kan do kiniga guna mainstream kuro paro.
I think I feel that the church, or there should be the church should also take initiative, to bring awareness on these mental illnesses. Plus, the institute should also provide this kind of mental awareness on mental illnesses. Plus, colleges or universities. So, first of all, mental illness, this awareness should be brought up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mala Nagaland infrastructure or support facility laga oporde sa shulu Naga schools can be kiniga equipped ase to deal with mental illness or all these issues.
I don't think so. Nagaland Naga school they do infrastructure or support facilities ase.
Okay,
yeah, I think we are still lagging behind.
Okay. Since tu ekta clinical psychologist ase aro tu nijola chamber bi ase, to tu ni idu chamber de counseling kani dena aro alak kan bi projects kan bi create noile awareness programs kan host create.
Yeah, I do awareness programs. I host the programs and all, and we do give trainings as well. So awareness program like on mental health awareness, or on it could be on autism, or and like seminars or trainings on psycho education. It can be provide kure. Yeah.
To do awareness programs kan jadam de colleges kan de jai na kiniga.
Yeah, college te bhi jai. We go to the college and then we bring awareness on mental illnesses, and then we also do some kind of tests like since depression and anxiety is very common, so we give the handouts and then they do the test on depression and anxiety, so that at least the students are aware that okay, I'm going through this problem, so they can be aware and they can overcome their sicknesses. Yeah. And we also conduct seminars like by inviting people, laymen, or by inviting people from the church, or it could be a housewife, or it could be a teacher, or anyone. They can come, anyone, they are welcome to attend the seminar on like psychoeducation or related to counseling psychology.
Okay, so to an kita do colleges kan de awareness programs kan de jai to an tade aro awareness program do ekta dia noina counseling kan bi loina na ini short sessions and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, we do short sessions of counseling. Some students they just come forward and they
Okay,
open up.
okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying ki ini students kan ajikal do ini open up kre say they come themselves for seeking for help ini.
Not every student,
Okay.
but a few of them. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So aro mon ajikali sai shugile ini kitia depression anxiety kule do youth kan koi ki bishi bakto self diagnose kriya han bishi thage enia koi. So why do you think people instead of seeking for professional help tan ini self diagnose kre? Why do you think so?
Okay. The first thing is I guess people are ashamed. People suffering with mental illness, they are ashamed, and then they don't want to disclose to the society that they're suffering with mental illnesses because they might be discriminated. So there's a lot of negativities
Okay.
or misunderstanding on these mental illnesses. And the second reason is not enough professional counselors or not enough institute to go and seek help. So people end up self-diagnosing themselves.
Okay. Tormon, is it more likely for girls to come up and then share their problems, no like do ini seek for professional help compared to guys?
Yeah, most of my clients they
Okay.
are female. They are
Okay.
female, and like I said, because I think the female makikani they are more sensitive, or they are more emotionally attached when it comes to this kind of matters. So they are more open, and then they are willing to share their problems and their issues rather than the male.
Okay. So why do you think like male khando inya share krile diktar by, like why do you think so?
Like I think it's vice versa. Motakandu they are not very sensitive. They are not very emotionally attached. So, but everything it goes back to their childhood experiences. So, childhood experiences are back to history, or what kind of caretaker where they were taken care, or what kind of environment they were brought up with. So, it also depends. So, for some male they open up, but for some male it's very difficult for them to open up. Yeah, even when we complete 5-6 sessions, still they are not opening up. So. We try to use a coping skills so that they can open up and then they can share their problems and their issues. So I think again it comes to sensitivity and then emotional attachment.
Or moan kita dula issue la upor de khota kushigli do motahan kushigile well tahan ini share kurule na para do mostly tahan ge like man up kuna koy manuan society kan like guys are not supposed to cry nule na. So do you think it makes them feel very sensitive or like very chutu feel kulit ya they find it difficult to share? What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I think what you said is right. Guys are they just, even though they are not strong inside, they are weak inside, but outside strong, way too strong as saying manuke dekhabole mon jai, and then they don't want people to look down on them. Yeah, I think so. That is the reason why they are not able to come forward or open up than female.
Okay. So when you're not feeling mentally well, no, like mental illness kan how important it is to seek the help of tula problems kan tula parents or friends kan share kule, no, family members kan share kule, kima important ase?
Yeah, it is very, very important, for someone who is suffering with mental illness to go and share their problems and their issues with their family members or with their friends or with their loved ones. whom they trust.
Okay.
And then they should be willing, to listen to them. They should be willing to, say a positive words. They should be willing to be with them. It could be morally or emotionally or financially. So that is very important. Even by listening for 5 to 10 minutes to someone who is suffering with mental illness, that matters a lot to that person.
So Arumon, for example, manukta mental illness rasi. So do you think talaga environment bishi matter create idura heal grole? The support system, does it impact grena nai?
Of course, the environment plays a very important role. Yeah. So for example, people suffering with mental illnesses, according to my experience, some of my clients, they come and they seek help. They come and they, seek help by counseling. But when they go back, they don't want to go back to their home. They don't want to go back to their family. They just want to be somewhere, far from their family members. So environment also matters a lot. What kind of environment they are fit into, that's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tumo ini self-diagnose kriya laga impact to ki ase?
So the negative impact?
Yes, the negative impact.
So yeah, self-diagnose, it's very dangerous for someone to self-diagnose. By self-diagnosing, you might misinterpret your medication. For example, by self-diagnosing, you just realize that you're having anxiety. But anxiety, there are different kinds of anxiety. Kali ekta anxiety nohoy. So I would like to suggest, or I would like to advise that never self-diagnose yourself, but to go and seek help, to go to a professional and seek help. Yeah.
Viewers kami janule garne ini different kind of anxiety do ki thage ini ekta duita ko parwa.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just share. There are different kinds of anxiety. Like for example, just share one example. It's called GAD, which is called generalized anxiety disorder. So it generalized anxiety disorder. Yeah, I have. There are a lot of Naga people suffering with this GAD. Okay. So it generalized anxiety disorder. It's like, even though you worry for small things, you let your worry to overtake your life, and you cannot take control of your worry. So that is called GAD.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Arumon, ini ajikali ini bishi popular ekta, ini nole bishi common ekta thake to social anxiety kuna bi ase. To social anxiety wi ki ase apni ni viewers khani.
Yeah, sure. Social anxiety disorder. When you start having social anxiety disorder, you just want to be isolated. You try to avoid people. You avoid crowded places, and then you are nervous. And then when apni market te jailebi, you just want to go to the place where people are not much crowded. So to anxiety disorder, those people suffering with anxiety disorder, mostly they want to remain by themselves, and also they have a lot of negative thoughts, and then their thoughts about their future are always negative, not positive at all. Yeah.
Moala school laga textbooks ka noile ini sai shugli do moan psychology laga subject to class 11 12 in era thage, but bacha dem dero hekai na ule asugli do mental health laga do ko mention na kurina thage. So why do you think idu mental health subjects kan do moala education system de prioritize na hogina se?
I feel that first of all, even the teachers or even the school directors or principals should be educated on psychoeducation or counseling education, because according to my experience, some counselors were sent to different schools, to give counseling to the students. However, the principals or director, they were very aggressive, and they did not allow the counselors to come in the school campus. So I feel that even the school teachers and this school directors or principals should be educated. They should know the importance of what is mental illness. They should know the importance of what is counseling. Then only I guess in our Naga schools they will come up with this subject called counseling. Yeah. education.
Tiwi ki babe moala naga society we when it comes to understanding what mental health is or mental illness is, moambi ekta level do pungchishina do we understand what it is actually?
As we know that talking about this mental illness is a taboo, right? So most of us, we Nagas, we misunderstand about what is mental illness. There is a misinterpretation on mental illness, but mental illness is like physical sicknesses. We have different kinds of physical sicknesses, and then we always tend to discuss about different kinds of diseases and sicknesses. But however, we always forget, or it's a taboo for us to speak about mental illnesses. Yeah. So.
Nagaland any dedicated mental health care facilities kan asna na institutions kan?
Now, in Nagaland, I think in Kohima we have State Mental Health Center in Kohima, and then some institutes, maybe 1 or 2 in Dimapur, and then 1 in Kohima. Yeah.
Okay. So, our health authorities, our community stakeholders kan ro kiniga manuhan ge educate kro baro itu mental health care kan itu kan kiniga educate kro baro.
So to give education on mental health care, I feel the first thing is there should be education on mental health care on various kinds of institute. Maybe like I mentioned earlier, schools or colleges or church. I think they all should take initiative. So I think these are one of the big platforms or opportunities for people to get to know about what is mental illness or to be aware.
Mon health authorities or stakeholders kan bro kininga manuhan ge idu mental illness or mental health la opode educate kro bo parwa.
Yeah. Firstly, takan kinga guna educate kro bole paro kole do. First, itu platforms church de lobo lage, itu opportunities lobo lage church de, itu they can bring awareness. They can invite professional counselors. There are a lot of nowadays a lot of youngsters coming up who has completed their masters in counseling psychology. So instead of inviting people from outside, you can also invite people from outside. But I feel that we should give opportunities now to our people. Kun purigena aishe takan ke opportunities dibo lage aro they can give those kind of platform to people who have completed their counseling psychologies aro takan aigena they can give education on mental illness. They can itu awareness itu dibo lage through them. So yeah.
Or to again koi thage nishna mental illness kuile idu ekta age group ke ekla affect kre na bin hoy like it affects all the age groups. So what Mala society the morning is issue mostly we focus on teenagers, like teenagers kan mental issues kan inya to any parents can be like when they come seeking for help mostly tambi most common mental illness to ki thage thagan bi
on the teenagers,
parents
on the parents,
the older age groups.
Okay. Mostly family problems thake aro relationship issues with their spouse plus their children.
Okay. So mostly it's depression they deal with.
Oh yeah, they deal with depression and anxiety from the age group 40s to 50s.
As a concerned citizen, when we find someone who is not doing very mentally well or mentally ill, Moambi, what can we do to help them as a good citizen?
To respect their sicknesses firstly, and then to be ready to listen to them when they need help, and to support them like morally and emotionally. So that is very important.
So giving like any listen corroborate takan garnu do bishi matter ko
exactly.
Like we can say that hunya right we can save a life in
right.
Yes. Because aron sa issue do idula por right depression anxiety wa suicide cases can be wala ka bishi ase to any manuhan ge like how can we approach to them like now those people who are suicidal or in thagi shugule mo kini approach ko lagi tibi
people those who are suffering with suicidal thoughts approach ko like you have to always be with that person, and then been emotionally, you have to be with that person, or you need to seek a professional help. So that is very important. First thing is being with that person, or taike ekla narakhibo lage, isolate nakrobo lage, and plus you need to go and seek a professional help. That is very important. Yeah.
Mon ini mental health care services kando kiman effective ase edu la opor de amni kiba ko parwa.
Mental health care
Services, how effective it is?
Yeah, like for example, mental health care services, people suffering with mental illnesses, they need to be in a safe environment. To, for example, any mind and health care, no maybe art therapy, maybe music therapy, it can help or mindfulness, breathing exercise. So all these things are effective. People suffering with mental health. Yeah.
Okay. So amni mo la viewers kan ge ko kole mon chaw na na mental health or mental illness kan la opor.
Yeah, I just want to share to people and or the viewers that if anyone is suffering with this mental illness, you know, the best thing is if apni you know yourself that there is something wrong, then you should seek help immediately. So the more you seek help earlier, the more your you know, sickness is curable. But the more your sickness becomes longer, it's difficult to cure. Though your sickness your sickness will be cured, only the time lower. Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much. Amni mo alo de aya kane. Icha sige mo ala viewers can be mental illness or mental health to ki ase do bishi hiki na thagiwo. Mohan itya ta lo de khota kwa nishna mohan mental illness or mental health to bishi important issue ekta ase bishi edu serious issue ekta ase hole mohan ko kole mohan la society de itu laga bishi olai gena mohan khota nokoi edu mohan kide mental illness la khota ko mohan friends kan ge khota ekla koi gina edu share grela do no gina mohan edu bi jani u lage ke professional help, clinical health counseling and dobele bishi important ase because it is more effective for mohan ke itu mental illness ra mohan ge bhal krule to icha ase ki mohan la aji la discussion ra mohan la viewers kan bi itu la opor bishi hegi na thagibo aji gane mani hobo or sai thagibi Hornbill TV
Nagalin la newspaper do copy paste kore
society ki as a media itula reflection ase na
there is a deafening silence from general public.
The government should strengthen the media.
There is no reaction to the story. Whenever a story about corruption is highlighted, response to equal